The Miami Heat, the ultimate underdogs, going from an afterthought that was minutes away from being beat by the Chicago Bulls in a play-in game to beating the Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals and making their second finals appearance in 4 years. We've seen absurd performances from the stars, role players, and Coach Spoelstra and his assistants, with a team that shot so poorly throughout the regular season, looking like they were a complete wash for the year, and even had some people questioning what the future would look like for the squad. I think the question on everyone's minds is, have we ever seen anything like this before? And in doing my thorough, meticulous research, hours of scouring the World Wide Web, I finally had found my answer. I just heard on the broadcast, Stan Van Gundy mentioning it a dozen times that the 1999 Knicks had made it to the finals as the 8th seed back in the day. So in honor of recognizing this type of greatness that's only occurred 2 times in the National Basketball Association, I compared and contrasted the two teams' journeys. I was honestly a little bit shocked to find how similar these teams' techniques were to get to the finals, and it may shock you. But before we get into the dominance of Jimmy, Jordan's son Butler, make sure to the like button, Batista Bomb, the subscribe button, and activate those post notifications. And look how close we are to 500 subs. Let's go, Dashing Hoopers. Love y'all. As we rewind to the 1999 NBA season, we saw a drastic shift in how the league was viewed. Considering we had just had the retirement of the most popular basketball player of all time in Michael Jordan, a lockout that reduced the amount of games to 50 in the regular season, and the first round of the playoffs was still the best of 5. It was a weird culmination of factors that set up a true shakeup in the league. After a slightly disappointing season for the New York Knicks, going 27-23 throughout the regular season, they were then matched up against the number 1 seeded, ironically enough, Miami Heat, with their main guy who finished second in MVP voting, Alonzo Mourning. Now, this Knicks team wasn't expected to do much, as their former superstar Patrick Ewing was declining in play as he had hit that 36-year-old mark, respectfully looking like a former shell of himself. Luckily for them, they had 3 guys hitting their prime in this stretch, with Allen Houston, Latrell Sprewell, and Larry Johnson all being between 27 and 29. Oh, and a young Marcus Camby was making a name for himself out there too, upping his game in the playoffs, just like everyone else on the Knicks squad, except for Ewing, unfortunately. Before we talk about the Knicks in the playoffs though, let's talk about how their regular season stats looked. And would you look at that? Bottom 4 in points per game, bottom 6 in pace per game, and bottom 5 in offensive rating. But at least these guys were top 5 in both defensive rating and points allowed. And wait a second. This is sounding very familiar, actually. Well, look what we have here. I think it's a pattern. With Miami being last in the league in points per game this year, second to last in pace, bottom 5 in offensive rating, second in points allowed, and top 10 in defensive rating, I think we see a style of ball that may not be too successful in the regular season, but can damn sure win you some games in the playoffs. With the 99 Knicks taking the 1-seeded Heat to 5 games and having Allen Houston hit the series-winning shot, it was eerily similar to Butler and his 2023 series-winning shot against the 1-seeded Milwaukee Bucks. Both these teams dominating, even with the opposing team's star player playing their asses off, and coincidentally, the opposing team's other big players crumbling under pressure. Handling business in the first round, then carried over momentum to decimate the Eastern Conference semis, where the 99 Knicks kicked Steve Smith and the Hawks' ass in 4 games, and the 23 Miami Heat manhandled Julius Randle and the 2023 Knicks in 5 games, losing only 1 game because Butler sat out with a bum ankle. Then on to the already unthinkable conference finals. Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Rick Smith, and Jalen Rose had a battle ahead of them, as this Knicks team had absolutely caught lightning in a bottle with their defense, throwing constant haymakers throughout the series, ending the slugfest with a 4-2 conclusion favoring the ridiculously hot New York Knicks. Fast forward to May 2023, and Jimmy Butler decided to play with his food a little too much, giving the Boston Celtics hope by forcing a Game 7 just to be humiliated in the Garden. So, the Heat are facing the Nuggets, An almost boringly dominant team with an all-time big that can control the game through his paint presence, having solid team structure and chemistry, good coaching, and... Oh, whoa. This sounds a lot like the 1999 San Antonio Spurs. With the lightning in the bottle finally escaping, the New York Knicks were no match for an all-time dominant performance from a young 22-year-old Timmy D.
Christian Dior.
Averaging 27, 14, and 2 to become the Finals MVP after just 5 games. So will the fate be the same for the Miami Heat? I mean, the Nuggets have been playing solid defense all postseason, but they weren't no 99 Spurs who had the paint locked down. So will Jimmy be able to handle the assignment of Aaron Gordon, who has done one hell of a job locking up dudes like Kevin Durant and LeBron James as much as humanly possible? Or will we see the superiority of Coach Spoelstra come to light and show us there is a way to slow down Nikola Jokic? You let me know what you think down below, Dashin' Hoopers, and as always, have a phenomenal rest of your day.